everyone. Welcome to Click Love Grow. My name is Lou. Today I'm chatting to the wonderful Tina Damasi. Tina, how are you?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Lou?
I'm very well, thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself as a photographer and using social media.
Yeah, sure. So I have been a full-time photographer now since January 2023. And prior to that, I kind of stumbled across it more as a hobby, more than anything else during COVID. So I have been working in this space for a couple of years now, but I think that from a social media aspect, it's been a slow progress, I think is what I can say. So I started with just a basic Facebook and Instagram page back in 2020, and I've just been slowly building on it since then. Very much so an organic approach, very much so an authentic approach. I do not like to be too sort of scripted in that space and what I do. And I think that builds a better connection with your audience. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I love that. Well, congrats on going full time with your photography. I think a lot of people start out photography as something for themselves in that hobby space, but there is absolutely the potential there to, start and grow your own business. And so it's been fantastic to see you do that. Um,
Yeah.
and using social media, it's such a big part of everything we do now, right? We're on social media right now. For many of us, that's how we connect with friends, we stay in touch. But there is this side as well as business owners. We can absolutely use social media tools and Instagram specifically to share our photography and grow our businesses. So, on today's call, we are going to have a little bit of a chat about Instagram specifically. Tina is going to share some techniques and tips with you to help you either get started in the space, maybe build your confidence. But we are also kicking off with a workshop that Tina is leading for us on Instagram, or it's an Instagram bootcamp for photographers. And so we've pulled out some of the bits that can help you along today, and we're going to be sharing them. Hello to Annalise, who's listening in from Harvey Bay. But Tina, I want to start out by asking you, why Instagram as photographers? Like, what is it about it that is so fantastic for us to use?
Yeah, so Instagram is probably the most visual platform that you can use, and it's pretty much built, I think, for photos, really. And whether you're a photographer or not, it's built for photos and videography and anything that's kind of visual. So I think it works perfect specifically for photographers because obviously you can showcase your stills, you can do a bit of video work and behind the scenes work as well. So I think there's a lot of options for it to work to your favor, I guess. And it just kind of depends how you want to use it, what your goals are in that space, as to what you do with it, I guess. And it's limited to your imagination,
Mm.
really. So you can use whatever other platforms you want, or, to build content and build those videos and make your photos, I guess, pop or showcase them in a different way. So there's a lot of different tools out there that you can use to do what you want to do in that space. So it's up to you. I think the one thing that I talk about a lot in the workshop as well is it's going to be as big or as little as you make it. So it
Yeah.
just kind of depends, how comfortable you are with it. And once you get familiar with using it on a more regular basis, you can slowly sort of build what you do in that space, basically.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, one of the secrets to it. It can feel really overwhelming if you haven't used Instagram a lot or any of the social media platforms before. And I want to say too, it's such a fantastic tool for building your business, and we'll talk about that in a little moment. But also as photographers, many of us want to be able to share our work either from, a personal photography project point of view, but we have a really big community at Click Love Grow, a community of photographers, and it's so beautiful to be inspired by other people's work. But there might be people watching who are part of Click Love Grow, they've taken the courses, but they still feel a little nervous about actually putting themselves out there a little bit more. And then, wanting to get involved by sharing their work, showcasing their work, connecting with other photographers, but haven't quite taken that step, or not quite feeling confident either being able to use the platform or feeling okay with themselves showing up. So I think too, if that's you as well, this is something to think about. And some of these tips can help you as well to kind of put yourself out there more, even if you want to grow photography for yourself. The other thing I love about Instagram, Tina, and you're probably the same, like as a user, I love connecting with other creators who are online. So I very much find myself I know people talk about these parasocial relationships, and that sounds like a little out there and crazy, but essentially, if someone's showing up on Instagram and I follow them because they're a photographer, or maybe they're like a clothes maker, or maybe they, create some other kind of art, when they show up and they talk and they share about themselves, like I definitely have that connection with them, right? And so I think as a user, I experience that. So that's always a really powerful reminder that as a business, you know, putting yourself out there allows people who might want to work with you to connect with you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think the community piece is huge, and that's across Instagram and Facebook. So I'm a part of so many different local community pages and what have you, and that's kind of how I've built my own little community as
Mm.
well. So there's quite a few of us local photographers here who all, ultimately we're each other's competition, but we're actually helping each other as
Yeah.
well. So I think that's one big thing you can do if you just want to get started and start building a bit of a following is actually going out and finding some other local photographers. Don't have to be local. They can be obviously international or, however it is that you want to do it. Find people that resonate with you and what you're trying to achieve as well. Connect with them, talk to them, send them a DM. They will reply. So that's probably one of the biggest things I think I could give you as a quick tip, just to kick yourself off in that space, is find other photographers, find other businesses that relate with you, follow them, comment on their pieces, like their pieces, and just start building that relationship with them. And you'll find it's reciprocated because they're ultimately doing the same thing. They're using it as a network opportunity as well. And yeah, you can definitely start off by just using what's local and around you that you love.
Yeah, that's such good advice. And I think, that's when people talk about networking, it used to be like networking meetup groups. Instagram now allows you to do that. And I think too, connecting with other businesses that have a similar audience to you, they understand that the power of working with other businesses. Like you said, other photographers, maybe your competition on paper, but at the end of the day, you are able to lean on each other. Um,
Yeah,
share clients, share ideas. And I think, and often I find too, other small businesses use other small businesses. So they
100%.
potentially are clients as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like even like my local cafe, for example. Like I
Yeah.
love going down there and tagging them in a coffee that they've just made, and I
Yeah.
know that, half my community or half my audience is there.
Yeah.
So, you want to be doing things that is relatable with the same audience as you and things that, other people can share as well, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's talk about this idea of confidence. So one of the goals, particularly that we've talked about in helping people through, social media techniques is not just the how to. It's not just like, here's how you use the platform. For many people, a stumbling block is like, well, I don't want to be on camera. Like, I'm so nervous to take those first steps. Let's have a chat about some ways that people can build up their confidence to be able to show up online. Because it's not just about sharing the beautiful photos that you take. You also want people to connect with you as a person and as a photographer. So, how can we overcome some of that initial fear?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'll be the first to put my hand on heart and say how much I hate putting my face on screen. Like, I do not like it at all. And I don't know many photographers that do, but there are certainly ways that you can get around that. And I think one of them in particular is just like sneaky behind the scenes, like use your stories and use them wisely, use them a lot. And you don't need to necessarily have your face on the screen when you're doing a story. You might be on a shoot at a beautiful location, and it might be just like a slow pan of the beach that you're at or something like that with music overlaid. That's just a real simple way to do it. I will sometimes try and give myself a bit of a selfie video so that my face is at least in it. But then, I put a filter over the top of it and I put some nice music over it. And so that's like just an easy, quick way that you can start slowly getting your face on screen without being it, being an absolute show of you. But you also want to make sure it's a good mix of different things as well. Because I think the one thing that I find when I'm looking at other people's profiles or even other photographers' profiles is if I'm constantly being bombarded with content, I lose interest. So you just want to have like a nice balance between things that you're interested in, things that your audience might be interested in, as well as yourself as well. So it's just balancing the three different areas and just making sure that yeah, you're not bombarding people, particularly with yourself, but you're getting yourself out there.
Yeah, I think, for many people, if you see someone very polished, and I think this happens a lot in the world of photography, and I was just talking to Marissa in our Project 365 group, about that beginner phase of photography, and then suddenly you discover all these other accounts and all these other Instagram feeds, and they're so curated and they seem, so amazing, and it can absolutely be inspirational, but it can have the opposite effect of feeling like, oh my gosh, like, how can I possibly even start when, X, Y, and Z is doing it so beautifully and showing up so nicely. So I think one of the biggest things is coming together and realizing everyone starts somewhere.
Somewhere,
Um,
correct.
and,
Yes.
I'm exactly the same. Like I show up and I do lives. I still, probably don't show up as much as I could or I should in, videos. I think there's always capacity to do more, but I started out having to do a lot of presentations in my former career. And I would just feel sick to the stomach. Like I would have the worst nerves. It was a real process to get over that fear, but I really think the only step is to do it more. The more you
I
do
agree.
it, yeah, you see that nothing terrible is going to happen.
Correct.
Um,
Yep.
and so what I think is really helpful is having some, like Tina was talking about before, some actual like do this, because then if someone else is telling you what to do and you kind of take away that, what am I going to share? No one's interested in what I have to say. That can be really helpful, right? Because you've got some actual implementable, tools
Yeah,
and prompts
definitely.
to use.
The other thing as well is that every time I do put my face on screen, I must say I get the best response. And the
Hmm.
people that are in your corner and backing you genuinely are always going to give you that confirmation, I guess, or that
Yeah.
reassurance that, yes, you're doing this, keep going. So I think, that's, you got to focus on the positive in this space and just make sure that, you're surrounding yourself with people who actually love you. And you'll find the more you do it, that's where the engagement comes in, is when you're actually giving a part of yourself, because they want to know a little bit about you on a personal level. They want to think that they know you or feel that they know parts of you. So the more that you share in that respect of you, yourself, could be your kids, could be your family, could be what you're cooking for dinner. It doesn't have to be anything specifically related to photography. But yeah, the more you do that, the more you show up, the more you will get from it organically as well, which I think is really important.
Yeah, because you're selling your photography, but you are also building a personal brand because photography is a service business. And there are many people that potentially a client could choose to take a gorgeous photo.
Yeah.
But if there's a photographer that they really like, that they trust, that they've gotten to know a little bit, that they feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much in common, or I really admire the way they do this, that's going to be the difference, when it's time to, oh, I need to book someone in, I'm going to reach out to them because I feel like I've gotten to know them a little bit. And I think that's really the powerful piece that sometimes we can lose and we forget why we're sharing things online.
Yeah, 100%. And it is just to build a connection with other people, right? So one part of it is showcasing your work and, this is the amazing stuff I can do. But the other part is to build a connection with people. And I think that's what they're going to take home, right? They're going to take home their experience with you. What was their interaction with you? What was it like? Like, how did you respond to your DM? Were you efficient in communicating with them? So they're the things that they're going to take home and remember at the end of the day, rather than, oh, well, you've got X amount of followers or you've got, X amount of posts. So I think that's also really important to remember that you're doing it to build connections with people more so than, to showcase necessarily or be a bit of a, I find sometimes it's a bit like show pony like I don't
Mhm.
like to, be, oh, hey, look at me, I'm over here. But it's to build the connection so that you're the first person that they think of when they're
Yep.
thinking booking a
Yeah.
shoot.
I love that. And honestly, it does make it feel less scary when you
It
say
does.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And I like you said before, the more you do it, the more confident you get with it. And then, the rest kind of follows after that.
Absolutely. Okay, so if someone is watching right now and they're thinking, okay, I'm really interested in some tips to improve my Instagram game or get started, what are some quick wins that people could use to show up a little bit more in the next week?
Oh, goodness. Like I said before, definitely use your stories. Use your stories to your advantage. They're quick snippets, they're live. You can showcase pretty much any aspect of your life, whether that be your actual work or what you're doing. You might be walking your dog in the morning, you might be taking your kids to school, you might be I don't know, going to yoga or whatever it is that you do on a day-to-day basis. Definitely use your stories on a more day-to-day basis. And then also just don't think too much before you post a photo. If you've got something, you've been working on something, just post it, see how you go. And I guess that kind of plays more to the posting algorithm on how frequent you are posting. But also remember, you can also go back to your grid. If something's not looking quite nice or, the way you want it to be, you can always delete it. So just think in that mindset, whatever you put on there can come down. And then, like I said, use your stories as much as possible.
Yeah, I love that. Another fun tip that I used to have, or I remember people telling me when I was really nervous about showing up, is just imagine you're talking to a really supportive friend. Like, forget that you're talking to, X amount of people. Forget that, you're worried about someone that you are worried doesn't like you listening in, right? Just imagine that you've got someone very specific that you're talking to, and then have the conversation. Pretend you're talking to them. And I think too, you can practice that. Do you ever like take them for practice and then not even post them, but it helps you feel more confident along the way?
Look, sometimes when I'm putting my face on screen in particular, I will take 2 or 3 shots and then that's it. I will stop after that
You
because you
have
could
to.
go on and on and on and on, refilming something that someone's going to see for like literally 10 seconds.
Mhm.
And you've been spending 2 hours doing it. So try not to overthink it. Just be as natural and organic and authentic as you can, and just give it a go and see what response you get. Because I think you'll be surprised of how responsive people are when you do start showing up a little bit more. Like I said, the people who are in your corner and they're backing you for the right reasons are always going to support you. So yeah, it can be daunting, but you just have to give it a go, basically. And a lot of it is trial and error and
Yeah.
just seeing what resonates and what doesn't, because, I've done it multiple times where something, I've posted a reel and it's gotten thousands of views. And then next week I go do the same thing and it's gotten like 100 views. And I'm like, but I did the exact same thing. And this is the fun of social media because it
Mhm.
changes all the time.
It sure
So
does.
yeah, you've just got to give it a go, really. And
Yeah.
yeah, don't be too scared of getting yourself out there because, you know, you've only got yourself to back, if in a way, like you have to back yourself, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere with it. And if that's fine, like if that's what you want, that's fine. But just make sure that whatever you're doing is resonating with you and what your goals are on a personal level, on a business level. And you can't go wrong if you're steering it in the direction that you want it to steer in.
Yeah, I think you said something really fantastic when you said, it is a process of trial and error. I think particularly in the beginning phase, but that's a mindset thing because I think if you were to post a video and get amazing views and then you post another video and it doesn't necessarily resonate, if you are focusing on, oh my gosh, that piece of content failed, I am a failure, I don't want to do this anymore. That is where a lot of people I think get stuck. But if you have the mindset of, okay, this is experimentation, I'm seeing what works, I'm seeing what I feel comfortable with, you can say, okay, that didn't work, but that's okay because I'm experimenting right now. So I'll just go on to the next thing. And I think that can help you progress. I also remember someone telling me this really fantastic piece that helped me when it came to like not knowing what to talk about. And it was this idea of like context over content. And I think when it comes to recording a video and like doing it multiple times, we can become really obsessed on like what we're saying, or I didn't say that right, or like I forgot to mention this one thing. But if we are photographers and we are showing up online and we're showing up and talking about a location, we're showing up and we're holding a camera, we're showing up and talking about our clients, people are like, oh, there's Lou with a camera. Oh, Lou, she's a photographer. Oh, there's Lou, looking happy doing this thing as a photographer. That it's the context of there she
Yeah.
is, there she is. It's not the over analysis of what were the exact words
No.
that she said.
People won't notice those things. They just
No.
notice it because it's you and you've done it, but nobody is going to notice whether you've stuffed something up or said the wrong thing or haven't said something or enough. It's literally getting your face out there
Mhm.
in a consistent way, right?
Yeah.
So, like we said before, that you're the first person that they think of when they think, oh, well, I need a photographer for this or whatever it might be. Oh, yeah, I remember this. So that's really all it is. It's consistency in what you're doing. And, the good thing about social media, I think, is that you can pick it up and put it down when you feel like it as well. So if
Yeah.
you need to have a break, have a break. You know what I mean? It's not actually going anywhere. It's still going to be there next week. So I think that's the other thing, is to take the pressure off yourself in what you're doing as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, it is ultimately just about consistency
Yeah.
and just showing up on a more regular basis.
Yeah, and look, I think getting started is probably one of the hardest parts. So, if you do need a little bit of inspiration or you'd simply love to learn more because you're like, I would love to do this, but I'm not sure where to start, we have put together a really fantastic workshop. Tina is going to walk you through Social Media 101. She's going to be showing you how to use the platforms, why it's so important, who you're talking to, and what else is inside the workshop, Tina.
Yeah, so there's some how-to guides in there as well, actual screenshots on how to do things really
So
quickly and
good.
easily for beginners specifically. And like I said, sometimes you think, oh God, it's going to take me half an hour to put a reel together. It does not need to take you half an hour. I mean, I have definitely spent half an hour before in the past putting them together, but it can take as quick as 5 minutes. And then at the end of that, there's also a 5-day challenge as well. So just to get you a little bit more active and get you thinking about different ways that you can do things. And then you can implement them on a week by week basis and just change the themes up. So yeah, there's a lot in there. There's quite a bit in there as well about just about content in general and content development. So yeah, I'm hoping you all love it.
Yeah, and look, I think one of the most powerful things about our creative workshops is the accountability piece of going through the workshop material with a group of other people. So I think when it comes to this particular workshop, it's going to be fantastic because everyone can follow along with everyone else. We can get everyone, in a community together and you can share what you're doing there. But you can have that bit of accountability and say, okay, I'm going to follow Tina's plan. I'm going to use these content pieces, and then you've got somewhere to share it. You've got some people
Yeah.
cheering you along, but you can also see how other people are interpreting those prompts as well, which I think is really fantastic because there's nothing more inspiring than saying, oh, I love what she's done.
Yeah.
And of course, Tina, you are going to be available inside the workshop group to answer questions as well. What are you most looking forward to in seeing everyone going through the workshop in a couple of weeks?
I just want to see people get active, really. Like, I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and just helping them. And I think the one thing I do on the side of photography is marketing consulting as well. So, and that's what I love about it is just being able to see people take what they're doing and running with it on their own and giving them that confidence to be able to do so. So, if I can share my expertise and make their lives a little bit easier, that's pretty much my goal in life is to help people achieve the things that they want to achieve. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'm most looking forward to be honest, is just yeah, meeting everybody and helping, and it's just supporting them. Because I think
Yes.
that's one thing I built my own little support system, um,
Mhm.
and that's taken me a couple of years to do so. But if you can get involved in a workshop like this, that's going to give you instant support straight away, you know, what a great tool. So
I know it's going to be fantastic. And I think too, seeing people's faces, I am really excited about watching your videos and your stories and being able to follow along with the journey because we are so in this online space. We see people's photography, we see how they've grown over time. So it's going to be really nice to put some talking faces to
yeah, I think
names. I think
so.
will be lovely too.
Nice to put a face to a name, and
Yeah.
everyone's got a story, and you don't know until you get to know them. People on a different level. So I think that's been one big thing for me, actually, just as a photographer in general, is the people that I've met
Yep.
have been amazing.
Yep, I love
Yeah.
that. Well, thank you so much, Tina, for sharing all your fantastic tips today. And thank you so much for putting together such a fantastic workshop that I know people are going to get a lot of value from. And it's probably just going to be exactly what they need to take those next steps to either start showing up or refining their messaging or really amplifying what they're already doing online. For anyone that's interested, the workshop will be starting on the 14th of October. It will go on sale on Monday, the 7th of October. Just head to clicklovegrow.com, follow the link to our courses. You'll see the workshop sign up page there. I've also popped it in the comments. You can jump on the wait list. It's going to be a really fantastic, different themed workshop for us. And I can't wait to see you all in the group with Tina. Thanks, everyone. And thank you so much, Tina.
Thanks, guys.